Hello everyone, welcome to the Tkinter Hub. And welcome to Student Management and Registration Project. And you are watching part 13 of Section B video. And if you did not watch part 13 video Section A, then you will need to watch video Section A, the video link available in the description box. And in this video, we are finally finishing this project, and I am incredibly happy to get here, and it's your incredible support that's pushed me to see this through. Dear viewers, thank you so much. So let's get started. And now we will start to create announcement page. In the announcement page, admin can send announcement messages to students. And after creating the announcement page interface, and then we will create the switch pages functionality. We will add the pages frame with their pages options. By clicking the pages options, we can easily switch between pages. But first we will create the announcement page frame and their interface. So we have completed work with the find student page function. Now here I will fold the code of this function. And now here I will create the announcement page function. In the announcement page function, we will create the announcement page frame. Here I am creating a frame. And we will put the announcement page frame in the pages frame. Here we have created the announcement page frame. Now we will call this function for display the announcement page. By calling the announcement page function, the announcement page frame will pack in the pages frame. Here you can see the announcement page created. Now let's start to create the interface of the announcement page. Here I am creating a label. Here I am creating an entry box. Now we will create this text box, where admin will enter the announcement message, for send to students. Actually this text box is a Tkinter ScrolledText widget. Basically the ScrolledText widget is a pre-attached text widget with a vertical scroll bar, so it comes with the combined scroll bar and text widget. Now let's import the Tkinter ScrolledText widget, because the ScrolledText widget is not a part of the main Tkinter module, instead it's provided as submodule of Tkinter. Here we will import the ScrolledText widget class from the Tkinter submodule. Here I am creating another label. Now we will create these check buttons for select the class or classes in which class of the students the admin want to send the announcement message. To create these check buttons one by one, instead we will create these check buttons in for loop through. Here in the for loop through, we will iterate the each of class grade from the class list. In the class list variable, we had stored these classes' grade names, so we will create the check buttons for these classes' grades. Here inside in the for loop, we will create a check button for each of grade class. And also in the for loop, we will set the each of class grade name to the every check button text. The X position of the every check button value will 10. This X position value will constant for every check button. But the Y position of the every check button value is different, because in the every check button have a gap between, in the Y position. So we will increase the Y position of the every check button, in the for loop. Here I will create a variable, which we will use to increase the Y position of the each of check button. The initial value of the Y position variable will 350. In the for loop, the first check button of the Y position, will 350. After creating a check button, in the every iteration of the for loop, we will increase the value of the Y position variable. So we will set the increment by 25, in every iteration. In each check button will have gap by 25 in Y position. Here you can see, the check buttons are created. Using these check buttons, the admin will specify that in which classes of the students will receive the announcement message via their email address. Here I am creating this button. And we have completed the interface of the announcement page. And now we will create the switch pages functionality, which will help us to switch the pages, by clicking the pages options. If you remember that in the Part 9 video, we had created the student dashboard, and also I had explained that how to create the switch pages functionality. So in the Part 9 video, I had already explained that how you will create the switch pages functionality. Now I will create the switch pages functionality with short explanation, because I had already explained in the Part 9 video about switch pages functionality. You can watch again the Part 9 video for your revision. Let's start to create. Here in the admin dashboard, initially we will display the home page. When the admin dashboard will be displaying, then the home page will have pre-switched. When I run this program, then here you can see, the home page is pre-switched, and also here the home page option is pre-indicated. Now let's start to create the switch pages functionality. Here in the switch function, we will takes a page argument, and the page argument will a page function, which we want to switch. Before calling the given page function, here we will destroy the current packed page frame from the pages frame. The winfo children function will return the packed child frames from the pages frame. Here we will destroy the child frame from the pages frame. And also here I will update root window, because sometime root window may not show changes. So here the current packed page frame will destroy, and now here by calling the given page function, the new page frame will pack in the pages frame. Now we will add the page function to their page option. Here in the home page option button, in the switch function, we will pass the home page function. Notice here you need to pass only function name, without the function opening and closing brackets. And here in the Find Student option button, we will pass the Find Student page function name, in the page argument. Now let's test this program. Now here you can see, we can switch the admin dashboard pages, by clicking their pages options. Now press subscribe button, if you have not subscribed Tkinter Hub. And now I want to show you, a demonstrate program of the announcement page. Basically this program have all functionalities of the announcement page, which we will create, in our current program. Now let's see, how the announcement page functionalities will work. First here is the entry box, for enter the announcement subject. Here I will enter a subject. Basically this entered subject will display, in the student's Gmail inbox, when they will receive announcement message. And here is a text box, here we will enter the message, which we want to announce. Here I will enter a message, for send to students. Here I have entered the message, which I want to send to students. And here is the list of the check buttons, for select the classes. Basically here we will specify, that in which classes of the students, will receive the announcement message. For show you the demonstrate, here I will select the 10th, and 11th grade class. Now the 10th, and 11th grade class of the students, will receive the announcement message, via their email addresses. And also here I have open, the Gmail inboxes, of the 10th, and 11th grade class of the students. Now let's start sending the announcement message, to the students' Gmail accounts. Here by clicking this send announcement button, we can send announcement message, to the students' Gmail accounts. Let's if I click this button. When I click the button, then here you can see, here a box appear. Basically here this box is displaying, the status of the sending process of the announcement message, to the each of the student email address. After sent announcement message to all students, then here message box appear, that announcement successfully sent. Now let's check the Gmail inbox. But here the Gmail inbox is still empty. Let's if I reload this page. After reloading this page, then here you can see, the announcement email have received. And also here the announcement subject is displaying, which we have entered. And here is the announcement message, which we have entered. Now let's check the other students' Gmail inboxes. You can see, the announcement message have successfully received, to the 10th, and 11th classes of the students. And I hope you understand, that how the announcement page functionalities will work. And now we will start to create, the announcement page functionalities, in our current program. So first we will get, the selected classes, because before sending the announcement message to the students, we need to know that in which classes of the student will receive the announcement message. Here in the for loop, we have created these check buttons. Now I will show you an example, that how we will get, the selected classes, from these check buttons. Here I will add the Lambda function, to these check buttons, as check button command. When a check button will press, from these classes check buttons, then the class grade name will print, of the selected check button. Here I have select 5th grade class, but here is printed 12th grade class. Let's if I select other check buttons. You can see, here is only printing 12th grade class, with selecting to all check buttons. Now let's see why it's happening. The reason of this problem is the Lambda function, because we have created these check buttons within for loop. This is a default behavior of the Lambda function, if you will use the Lambda function in a loop, and if you will capture the iteration value using the Lambda function, then it will happen. The simple solution of this problem is that we need to add this syntax inside in the Lambda function as a default argument. Now the Lambda function will print the correct class grade name of the selected check button. Here you can see, now the correct class grade's name is printing of the selected check buttons. And now we will store the selected check button grade class name in a list. The add class function will append the selected class grade name in a list. The name argument will selected class grade name. Here I am creating a list. In this list we will store the selected class grade's name. Here in the add class function, we will append the selected class grade name in the list. And also we will print the selected classes list. And now we will add this function to these check buttons. Now the selected check button class grade name will add in a list. Here you can see, the selected classes grades names are appending in the list. But now let's if I unselect the 5th and the 6th class check button. Then here you can see, the 5th and 6th class grades names are still in the list. So we need to exclude the unselected class grade name from the list. Here in the add class function, we will check a if condition. Using the list count method, we will check the selected class grade name as already exists in the list. The count method will take a item name in argument, and if the given item will exist in the list, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So if the selected class grade name will exists in the list, then we will remove the existing class grade name from the list. And if the selected class grade name will not exists in the list, then we will append the class grade name in the list. And also here the selected classes will print. Now let's if I unselect the check buttons. Now here you can see, the unselected class grade name is excluded from the list. The selected check button class name will append in the list, and the unselected check button class name will exclude from the list. And now we will collect the email addresses of the students, which students are belong to the selected classes. So we will fetch the students' email addresses from the database. For send the announcement message to the students' Gmail accounts. In this function, we will collect the email addresses of the students of selected classes. Here in the for loop, we will fetch the email addresses of the students from the each of selected classes. Using the fetch student data function, we will fetch the students' email addresses from the database. Here I will write a query, which will fetch the students' email addresses from the each of selected classes. Here in the for loop, this query will fetch the students' email addresses from the each of selected classes. And also here we will print the fetched email addresses. And also we will add this function to the send announcement button. And here is the send announcement button. Here I have selected the 10th and 11th grade classes, and the selected classes are added in the list. Now let's if I click to the send announcement button. Here you can see, the email addresses are printed, of the 10th and 11th grade classes of the students. You can see, we have got the email addresses of the selected classes of students. Now we can send the announcement message to the students' Gmail accounts. But before we need to store these fetched email addresses in a separate list. To store these email addresses in a list, first we will slice these email addresses from the list of tuples. Here in this for loop, we will run another for loop. Here this for loop will separate the fetched email addresses from the list. And also here we will print the fetched email addresses from the second for loop. Here you can see, the email addresses are separated from the list, and now we will break this tuple from these email addresses. To break the tuples, here we will use the star operator. Basically the star operator will unpack every single element from the tuple. Now here you can see, the email addresses are separated from the list of tuples, and now we will add these email addresses to the list. Here in this list, we will store the fetched email addresses. Here we will append the fetched email addresses to this list. And here the out of this loop, here I will print this fetched emails list. Now here you can see, the fetched email addresses are added in a separate list. Now let's see the further process, that how we will send the announcement message, to these email addresses. Here I am creating a function, called sendAnnouncement. In the sendAnnouncement function, we will perform the process of the sending announcement message, to the students' email addresses. First here in the sendAnnouncement function, we will create this box. This box will display the process of the sending announcement message, to the students' email addresses. Here I am creating a frame for this box. These two attributes will add the around color border to this box frame. Here I will call this function, to display the box frame. Here you can see, the box frame is created. Now let's create the other stuff of this box. Here I am creating this label. Here I am creating another label, where we will display the process of the sending announcement message. Now I will show you an example, that how we will display the process of the sending announcement, to this label. So we will display the process to this label in the text form, like this. You can see, that how the sending process will display, to this label. Now we will start to create the send announcement functionality, and while sending the announcement message, we will display the process of the sending announcement message in this box. And here in this box, we will display two things: the email address where we are sending the announcement message, and the counting of the numbers of email addresses which have received the announcement message from the total numbers of email addresses. So let's start to create. Here in the send announcement function, we will take an argument called email addresses. Here in the email addresses argument, we will take the email addresses list as argument, which email addresses will receive the announcement message. And here we will run a for loop. Basically, in the for loop, we will iterate the list of email addresses, which is this argument, and also inside in the loop, we will send the announcement message to each email address from the email addresses list. And also inside in the loop, we will display the process of the sending announcement message. Simply here in the loop, we will iterate this argument email addresses list. And also inside the loop, we will display the process of the sending announcement message. Here we will display the email address, in which email address we are sending the announcement message. And also we will display the counting of the sent announcement message, that how many email addresses have received the announcement message. So here I am creating an integer variable. In this variable we will store the sent announcement counting. And also we will display the total numbers of the email addresses, which will receive the announcement message. To display the total numbers of the email addresses, simply here I will display the length of the email addresses list. Now let's see how we will send the announcement message to each email address inside the loop. And after sending the announcement message to each email address, and then we will increase the value of the sent count variable. To send the announcement message to each email address, here we will use the send mail to student function. This function we had created in the Part 8 video. You can watch the Part 8 video again for your revision. Basically, this function will take three arguments. The email argument will be the receiver email address, where we want to send the message. And the message argument will be the message content, in the HTML form. And the subject argument will be the message subject, which we will pass as announcement subject. And also in this function, we will make an improvement. Here after sending the message using the SMTP server, then here we will quit the SMTP server session, which will optimize the process while sending the announcement message. Now let's see how we will send the announcement message using this function. Now here we will pass the required arguments to the send mail to student function. Here in the email argument, we will pass each email address from the email addresses list. And here in the subject argument, we will pass the announcement subject. The announcement subject we will get from this entry box. And the last argument is the message. In the message argument, we will pass the announcement message in the HTML form. Let's see how we will convert the announcement message into HTML form. Here I will use the HTML h3 tag to display the announcement message in the HTML form. Here I will put the announcement message. The announcement message we will get from this text box. In the text box get method, we need to specify that where we want to get the text from. Here I have specified the 0.1, which is mean from the 0 character, and from the first line, and until the end. From start to end, the whole text will be put here, from the text box. Now we will pass this HTML form message to the send mail to student function as message argument. And after sending the announcement message to each email address, then we will increase the sent count variable value. Here we will increase the sent count variable value by 1. This variable value we will use to display the counting of the number of email addresses which have received the announcement message. And after increasing the sent count variable value, and then we will configure again the sending process to this label to display the sent message counting increment. So here the sent message counting will update in the displaying sending process. And after sending the announcement message to all the given email addresses. And then out of this loop, we will destroy this sending email box, which has displayed the sending announcement message process. And after destroying the sending email box, then here we will display in the message box that announcement sent successfully. Now let's see how we will use the send announcement function to send the announcement message to the email addresses of the selected classes of students. Here in the collect emails function, we will use the send announcement function. Here after fetching the email addresses of the selected classes of students. And then here out of the loop, here we will call the send announcement function. And here in the email addresses argument, we will pass the fetched email addresses list. But here we need to use the threading module to call the send announcement function. Because in the send announcement function, we are sending the mail to the email addresses using the SMTP server, which is a network operation, and it takes time to perform this operation. And while sending the mail, which is the network operation, the Tkinter event loop can prevent to update the window, and this can be causing the window to hang or freeze or not responding issues. To prevent this issue, we will need to use the threading module to call the send announcement function. The threading module will handle the send announcement function process separately. So let's import and use the threading module. The threading module is a Python built-in module, so you don't need to install it. Now let's see how we will use the threading module. Here we will call the send announcement function using the threading module. Here I am creating a thread object. Here in the thread class, we will pass two arguments. The first argument is the target. In the target argument, we will pass the function name, which function we want to execute using the threading module. So we want to execute the send announcement function using the threading module, so here I will pass the send announcement function name in the target argument. And the second argument is an optional argument, called args. In the args argument, we can pass the argument value, which we want to pass to the target function. So in the send announcement function, we will pass the fetched email addresses list, as argument. And also the argument should be in list form, so here we will put argument value, inside the list. So this argument value will pass to the send announcement function, when we will start the thread, to execute the send announcement function. Here we are starting the thread. This start method will instruct the Python interpreter to initiate the thread and execute the send announcement function, with the provided argument in a separate execution path. Now let's test it. First here I will enter the announcement subject. And then here I will enter the announcement message. Here I have entered the announcement message. Now here we will select the classes, in which classes of the students we want to send the announcement message. Here I have selected the 10th, and 11th, and 12th class, and also here I have opened the selected classes of students' Gmail inboxes, where they will receive the announcement message. Now let's start sending the announcement message to the selected classes of students. Now when I will click to the Send Announcement button, then the announcement message will start to send, to the selected classes of the students' email addresses. Here you can see, when I click the Send Announcement button, then here the sending email box appear. This box is displaying the sending announcement process. Here is displaying the email address, to which email address is currently sending the announcement message. And also here is displaying the counting of the sent announcement message to the email addresses, from the total numbers of the email addresses. And after sending the announcement message to the all email addresses, then here you can see the message box appear, that announcement sent successfully. Now let's check the Gmail inboxes of the students, in which students' email addresses we have sent the announcement message. Here you can see, here is a mail received. Here you can see, we have successfully received the announcement message. Let's check the other students' Gmail inboxes. So the announcement message has successfully received to the all selected classes of the students. Now I want to show you a problem. Let's if I enter the multiple lines of the announcement message. Here I have entered the multiple lines of the announcement message. And also here I will make changes in the announcement subject. And also here classes are selected. Let's if I send the announcement message. Here you can see, the announcement message sent successfully. Now let me show you the Gmail inboxes of the students. Here is the mail received. Let's open this mail. Here you can see, the multiple lines of the announcement message is displaying here in a single line. Let's check the other students' Gmail inboxes. We have entered the announcement message in multiple lines, but here in the Gmail inbox, the message is displaying in a single line. So we need to solve this problem. First I will explain to you why it's happening. Here in this box, we are entering the announcement message in multiple lines, but in the Gmail inbox, the entered message gets treated as in a single line. The reason for this problem is, the HTML block level element, like h3 tag, which we have used to display the announcement message in the Gmail inbox. Basically the HTML h3 tag is a block level element, and the block level elements by default ignore the multiple spaces and the multiple lines of the text and the tab spaces. So that is the reason that the multiple lines of the announcement message gets treated as a single line in the browser. Now let's see how we will solve this problem. To solve the problem, here in the h3 tag we will apply a CSS property. Here in the h3 tag, by applying the CSS whitespace property, and by setting the pre-wrap value to the whitespace property, then the block level element the h3 tag will not ignore the multiple lines of the text, and the multiple spaces, and the tab spaces. Now let's test it. Let's if I send the announcement message. Now let me show you the Gmail inboxes of the students. Here is the mail received. Let's open this mail. Now here you can see, the problem has solved. Now the announcement message is displaying in the multiple lines. Let's check the other students' Gmail inboxes. And we have completed work with the announcement page. And congratulations to everybody, we have almost done this project. And now we will start to create this last one, the Logout admin dashboard functionality, and then this project will have done. So let's start to create. We have completed work with the announcement page function, so here I will fold the code of the announcement page function. Here is the logout option button, and here we will create the logout function. First here in the logout function, we will ask confirmation to the user, do you want to log out? If the user will press the yes button in the confirmation box, then the confirmation box function will return the true value. So here we will check if condition, if the confirmation box will return the true value, then we will destroy the admin dashboard frame. And after destroying the admin dashboard frame, and then we will display the welcome page. And also here we will update the root window because sometime the root window may not show changes. And now we will add this logout function to the logout option button. Now let's run this program. Now if I click to the logout option button, then here you can see the confirmation box appear. If I click to the yes button. Here you can see, I redirected to the welcome page. And dear viewers, congratulations, finally we have done this project. And I especially want to thank all the viewers, who have been waiting so patiently, for these project parts. Your patience means a lot to me. Thanks again for your support and patience. If you have any problems or questions about this project, you can contact me via Facebook. Link available in description and pin comment box. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe our channel for more videos. See you in the next video.